Good evening, everybody. We're going to get going in about 2 minutes. All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are around this amazing, beautiful world. Welcome to another Inner Circle Live Asian session. And I am your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen. And I thank all of you for being here once again with me this evening. So let me make sure everybody has control over their microphone. And if everybody could, please drop me a 1 in the chat to let me know that my sound is pretty good and everybody can hear me loud and clear. And we can get this thing rocking and rolling. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the participation. And let me check out one more thing. Okay. All right. We got that. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions for the next hour or so. Grab a pen and paper so you can take lots of notes. As always, let's make sure that we participate and engage. So just a quick disclaimer, trading the Forex market is risky. So never, ever risk money that you cannot afford to lose. Everything that we're going to go over is for educational purposes only. We can teach you our strategy, teach you about the technicals and the fundamentals, show you trades that we may be looking to get into ourselves. But at the end of the day, you are 100% in control of your own account and the outcomes. And just an extra disclaimer, we have to say it from time to time, we're never going to reach out to you and ask you for money or promise to trade your account or anything like that. We've got a lot of scammers going on out there, a lot of people hijacking profiles. So just know, you guys always know where to find us, and know that we're never going to reach out to you and tell you to send us money in no way, shape, or form. So just wanted to let everybody know that, because it's getting a little bit out of control. So just be aware of that, okay? So wild west with the internet. So always be careful and protect yourself. Okay, when in doubt, reach out to us, inbox us, ask us questions. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out of this. That is done now. And let's take a look at the fundamentals. Welcome to everybody who just joined us. It's been another awesome week in the markets. A lot of news this week in regards to a lot of economies and their CPI reports and all of that stuff. The dollar gained some strength. right? We see here, if we go to trading economics, we could take a look at it and we see that, hold on everybody, I apologize. Okay, so we go to trading economics and we can see that the US retail sales unexpectedly rise, right, in August. So we know that the dollar has been taking a beat down. Jobs numbers a little while ago didn't come through as expected. CPI was down as far as in the inflation numbers, missed forecast, but now we got a boost in the dollar as the U.S. retail sales unexpectedly rise in August. So you look at the article, check it out. Retail sales in the U.S. unexpectedly rose 0.7% month over month in August, following an upwardly revised 1.8% fall in July and beating market forecast of 0.8% of a 0.8% fall. So purchases rose the most at non-store retailers, furniture, general merchandise, and food and beverage stores. Meanwhile, sales in food services and drinking places remained unchanged as the coronavirus Delta variant spread and auto sales dropped due to product shortages. So we all know that there's a huge chip shortage still because of what has happened with the in the manufacturing globally. And you got a chip shortage when you come to automobiles and things like that. So you got a production shortage overall. So that was good for the dollar. We can see also that in regards to the New Zealand currency that has been strong, the manufacturing activity shrinks amid virus lockdown. So they got a little bit of shrinkage in their manufacturing sector because of the virus lockdown. And we know that they have been pretty much number one for the most part when it comes to the coronavirus and how they handled it as a country. But then they had a little scare a little while ago and they put everything on lockdown, didn't mess around. And you can see it reflecting in the numbers. So they're down a bit, but overall, I think that New Zealand currency is still strong, but you may start to see a little bit of a correction on that New Zealand currency. What else is going on? Oil pulls back from a 6-week high. Canadian stocks fell, dollar hits a 2-week high, right? As a result of the retail sales. So a lot of things going on around the world. It's good when you can come to a site and pretty much find the majority of the news in one place. So that's tradingeconomics.com. So always make sure that you familiarize yourself with some of the activities that are going around the world globally, since we are trading currencies, which are like trading, you know, you're not trading stocks, which are pieces of companies. You are trading currency, which you can look at it as it being pieces of the nation itself, right? So very important to know what's going on around the world. If we come to and take a look at the risk appetite, we are, okay, in a risk on situation. You got the VIX that's down, okay, so we're risk on. You got the gold silver ratio, that's up slightly, right? Okay, but then you got the Vanguard total bond market, right, is down still, okay? You got the Dow Jones is down, all right? So pointing the risk on, this is pretty much flat here. And you got your New Zealand that's down slightly, right? We're looking at the potential of a correction. But then you look at your NASDAQ down just slightly. Dow Transportation is up, okay? And when you look at your Global X, your copper is down, right? But that's a result of the main thing. You've got China out there who is expanding. And when you look at your commodity prices, when you're a country that's trying to expand and you're a large purchaser of commodities like copper, like iron ore and things like that, you like to see that price stay down. But because you have other developing economies around the world that are growing, right? We know that if the demand for those particular commodities like iron ore and copper and things like that, if they're in high demand, it's going to push the price up. So one of the things that China is doing is they have vowed, you know, they're saying, hey, we have mineral reserves and we're going to go ahead and release, right, more of our mineral reserves, of our own stuff, because we want to drive the price down on certain minerals and commodities, you know, globally. So we want to drive that price down because the price is getting a little bit too high for our liking. So that's what they are doing. So you see that the copper price is down. So, and that's mainly the result is China's taking action to try to lower that copper price. So That's the one variable dealing with that copper price. So overall, we are still in a risk-on environment in Australia, right? Their bond yields in Australia, right? Bond yields up, good for the currency. Their bond yields are up. I think it's I forget how many months, but it's at a high right now. It's at a high right now, and that's mainly because we know that the Australian dollar has been taking a beating because of the Delta variant, but they have had a surge in vaccination. So now Australia as a nation has I think it's 70% of their population has at least had one dose, right? One dose. So when you're speculating and you're looking at that, that's good for the economy because they look at that as, hey, the more and more people that get the vaccination, the faster people can get back to work and the economy can expand, potentially expand as a result. So the Australian dollar showed a little bit of strength, but probably not as much, right? It was kind of a mixed bag because even though they experienced a surge and now they have 70% of their population that has had at least one dose, okay, of the vaccination, the jobs data came through kind of shaky, right? So the unemployment came down, it was like 4.5%, but to 4.5%, but they were expecting like 4.9. So even though it kind of trickled down, it was still below what was expected. And then they lost, I think, like 140,000 jobs or so, which missed forecast. So a bit of a mixed bag coming out. But the positive thing is that their population, 70%, has had at least one dose. And then you got some shaky job numbers, but hey, that could improve now that more and more people are getting vaccinations in Australia. So just some things to follow as you look at the fundamentals. So you can see the core retail sales for the United States when you switch over to Forex Factory, that it came in above forecast. All right. And then your retail sales came in right at what was, above forecast too, because it was negative 0.7%. So good deal on that. Tomorrow, we've got pretty light day. Okay, no major red folders to look out for. So Friday will be pretty quiet in regards to the fundamentals, but you never know. You never know what can happen. So let's take a moment because there were some pairs that we weren't able to go over last night because I had to close it out because of a meeting I had this morning. But I want to start out with take a look at the gold because that was a request. So I want to make sure that we start there. And give me 1 second. Good evening to everybody who just joined us. All right, check something out real quick.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, so let's take a look at this gold. We look at it from a weekly standpoint, okay? And as we talked about before, when we did the markup a couple of days ago on gold, we were saying, hey, CPI numbers came in, they missed, right? So it looks like inflation is somewhat under control, and we know that investors and people like to move money into gold as a hedge against inflation. So if the inflation numbers are coming in and, well, hey, inflation is the market isn't running as hot as they thought, and inflation seems to be balancing out, like Jerome Powell has been saying for quite some time, then you may see a move bearish in gold, right? So you can see here the weekly chart, you got a weekly candle that's right up here against this support. Okay, the support level here is 1755. So you can see the drop off for actually the last 2 weeks. So kind of a range, look at this, it's just crazy. Then a push up, but you can see right here this week, as we're now moving into Friday, where we've got a bearish move to the downside on that. So as we start to move down through the time frames and zoom in on exactly what is happening, you can see that we played this range and we wanted to try to get a fib on this up move here, because you can see here this range that popped off and then it's pushed down and right back up, okay, which was that crazy action that you saw. But you can see we had a new AB fib here to the upside, and then look, the same 80-20 move, right? Even on gold, and then a push down into the zone, right? So that B to C move off that 127, which was in confluence with this weekly resistance level there. Look at that. That's a strong level around this 1832. That's a strong zone. Look at the reaction, right? And now it's pushing down again. Now daily we got a stochastic in the buy zone, so we'll see, right, how far this wants to push down into the zone. Okay. Now if you go down to your one, I got this on the 4. So here's your 4, and this is that daily. Okay. That daily fib that we have to the upside, and you can see it just pushing down, right? So it consolidated, and then it broke to the downside. So it fell off a cliff a little bit, and then the 15-minute is where the other day we had drew up, and we noticed a little flag pattern, and we said, hey, okay, based on an inflation data, right, we see where it breaks out, okay? If it goes below that 1801, you look short, and above 1808, I believe we said, we may take a look at it to 1815. Well, it broke below 1801, and it just continued to push down. Just continued to move down. So I don't know who exactly trades gold on here, but if you were on that webinar and you marked the chart up, right, for a move below 1801, look to short, that was a beautiful play to the downside. Beautiful play to the downside. So congratulations if you took that and you kept a close eye on that and looked at that break below. So good move on gold. So that's where the gold market is, right? You got that natural. It seems like it's trying to push back up a little bit, but ultimately you're ranging, which is usually what happens when you get a huge impulsive move, either to the downside or to the upside. Okay, it kind of accumulates a bit and then it decides what it wants to do next. It appears to be moving up, but we don't know. We don't know just yet, right? We're starting to creep up a little bit. We know that, hey, there's always the potential that the market's going to try to take back some of what it gave, right, and pull back. So you may be looking at a move to the upside here. That's what it appears. It's trying to do that now, but we'll see. So this level here, off your 15, right there. So if you get that break and a retest above 1758, then it may be looking to try to get long again. Okay, and we're on the 15-minute chart. So that's the gold play there, but beautiful push to the downside. So if you caught some pips or whatnot on that, you made some money, you might not want to mess with it again. Right, for right now, you've done well. So any questions on gold? No. Okay. Deshaun, good evening. Thanks for joining us, my man. Excellent interview with Casey on Facebook. So if you guys haven't checked it out,
Casey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. Thanks for doing that, man. We really appreciate the positive feedback and everything. Yeah, so definitely give you a shout out, right? Drop my man some nines in the chat, right? Some applause, some fire emojis or something. Great job, man. Great job. So if you haven't checked that interview out in Facebook, it was pretty good, really informative, and congratulations on the success that you've had so far. Yeah, and some great nuggets and insight, right? So we go over all the pairs and we say, hey, usually throughout the week you may spot like 5 or 6 pairs that you want to really narrow your list down to. And my man Deshaun has his pairs that he likes to trade, right? Just a couple pairs or so. If that's what you like to do, that's what works, where you can operate with a real narrow focus and have success. Hey, get it done that way, right? So that was one of the little nuggets that I wrote down, right? I said, hey, you don't have to trade all these pairs. You definitely don't. You definitely don't. So all part of your game plan. So congratulations again, my man. Appreciate it. Yep. So that's it on gold. And then last night we had somebody ask about the Aussie Swiss too. So just want to fall back on that. I'll take a look at the Aussie Swiss. And we've been playing this to the downside, right? And we got that move. Okay. So if you zoom out, we were saying, hey, potential for this crown pattern here. And we can identify, right, the left tip of the crown, foresee the right tip. So we say, hey, we're gonna take this short. Okay, looks short, right? Over the medium term, looks short, right? We want to see that target hit, but then, right, as you move down, you can make money on the way up and the way down. So we say, hey, this is a nice sizable fib. You might get an 80-20 play there if you want to play that back to the upside. Or if you're short and you don't want to play that, then this may give you a high price. Once it gets to the high price, you might look to add to the trade. Okay, but based on that nice intraday 80-20 play, you got the reversal. We're at TP2 now, right, on that. Okay, so we're pushing up into that zone. And then what we'll do, if you're out at TP2, cool. Wait to see how the market reacts and see if it's going to push back to the downside. So all in all, good move. Really good move to the downside off the reversal that we went over previously. And now there was a nice little intraday play there with the 80-20 to B2C move to buy back to the high price. So looks like it worked out okay to TP2. So awesome if you took that play. Now we're at TP2. Just manage your trade accordingly. Or if you're just waiting for a nice high price, wait on some confirmations, make sure everything is aligning for you and see if it gives us confirmation back to the downside. Right now it's playing around a little bit. It pushed down and now it's right back up to this level at the 61.8. And so let's see what type of reaction we get off of that. All right, so that's the Aussie Swiss. That's where we stand. Any questions? Okay.
Benny,
Yep.
are you able to review any charts on the community?
Like which ones? Like you're talking about the ones that you guys post?
Yes, sir.
Yep, I could review them. I could review them. I'm backed up on that, but I will review them. Did you post them?
Yes, sir. I posted one today.
Okay.
It was a market structure. I didn't draw a trend line on it, but I was trying to get corrected on the basics of the market structure.
The market structure? Okay, you're breaking up a little bit. But I hear you though. So what I'll do is I'll go.
It's Sheldon Webb. I can't remember the pair.
Can't remember the pair. Okay, that's fine. Thanks for giving me a heads up on that. What's your last name?
Webb, Sheldon Webb.
Sheldon Webb. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When we close out tonight, at some point tonight, I'll make sure I go on there and
Okay.
check out what you did. Appreciate it for giving me a heads up on that.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for posting. All right, so that's the Aussie Swiss, everybody. We had a request on the Euro USD last night that we didn't get to. So let's take a look at that. Just from a daily perspective, right? We're still pushing down. Okay, we're thinking, hey, can we get back to this daily 382 level? Okay, so now we're at another key area here, a key zone. See that there, right? Where you got your possible head and shoulders type situation. We got a stochastic and a buy zone on the daily. So we've been short on it, right, off that AB boundary. Okay, same thing over and over again. So we've been short on it, but now, especially with that dollar strength, the euro isn't doing bad either. But now we want to see, is that dollar strength just temporary, right? Because we know overall what's going on with the Fed and what they're thinking in regards to tapering and maybe extending that time frame because of the CPI report, right? So with that retail number, just a temporary boost that created that's going to create a lower high for the dollar, and then it's going to continue to drop. We'll see, but right now we're at a critical area, right? We're at the 61.8 on this sub-fib. We know there's a possibility that we never got a 382 on this capital down AB fib here. So now we just track it accordingly and see what's going to happen. So beautiful to the downside so far. On a 1 hour, we still got a stochastic that's in the sell zone, right? It's overbought right now, so you may get a further push down. So if you're short on that, right? If you're still short on this move, it's through 2 TPs right now. So if you're still short on this move, then maybe put you a downtrend line, right? Your stop should be in profit if you're not getting out at this point, okay? And then wait to see how the market reacts. Wait to see how the market reacts. If it gives you a strong bullish move to the upside and gives you a break, right? Gives you a push up, breaks through some levels and pulls back and gives you a higher low, okay? And maybe you have a trend line on it at that point, okay? Like this. Even have you a trend line on it at that point, then you look to see, are we going to go ahead and continue bullish from here, right? But you just wait for some confirmations, wait for some confirmations. But right now, this has been a great trade to the downside. We're nowhere to 61.8 area. We've seen from the higher time frame, right, that we could be possibly sitting on that right shoulder. Okay, so let's just wait. We're in the Asian session right now. We're going into Friday. We might not get that much volume, that much movement. We'll see, right? We'll see, but just know that this has been a nice impulse move to the downside. We rode the waves to the downside through TP2. Now you're at a key area, 61.8 with some structure that's actually a left shoulder, right? Of a potential head and shoulders. Okay, so let's focus. We got a stochastic now on a 1 hour that's in the sell zone. So we don't have that alignment yet. Okay, we don't have that alignment yet. We know we got a daily stochastic that's in the buy zone, right? Let me double check just to make sure on that. All right. Yep. So we're in the buy zone there. Okay, we're in the buy zone. So now it's kind of a wait and see, right? Let the market tell us what it wants to do. If you're short, right, move those stops in the profit. Make sure that or take some money off the table and let some continue to run and monitor it closely. So that's where we are on the Euro USD. Any questions on that? No? All right. We're just taking it all in tonight, end of the week, Thursday night. I know we probably got a Thursday night football game on or something in the NFL. All right. So that's the Euro USD. We had a question on that. Somebody was looking at the NZD CAD. Okay. Take a look at it. So there's that NZD CAD, right? We got a break on that trend line. So if we zoom out, right? If we zoom out on the 1, okay, we got the potential, that 80-20. We got a break on that inner trend line, right? That aggressive inner trend line is broken. And now we're looking to see if we can get that relief, right, to the downside and continue down to that 382. So that trade is already off and running. Okay, it's pushing a little sideways there. We know that we got the data where, right, manufacturing activity shrinks amid the virus lockdown. So they've got a little bit of shrinkage, right, in manufacturing, but overall we know it's strong. But, right, you can say, hey, I'm a bull on the New Zealand dollar, but we want a lower price. So if you're a bull, you want a lower price anyway. If you're a bear and you're looking to short this B2C, it looks like it retested the backside of that trend line, is moving sideways. And what we would love to see is a continuation to the downside. So from where this is now, it's still like 130 pips to the downside, okay? But it gave us a beautiful pullback, that impulse move when that data came out. Forget which report that was, but it pushed it right up to the backside of this trend line, right? That huge candlestick, right? That's usually when you get something fundamentally happening from a report. And then look what happened. Boom. Huge. Just stopped and pushed sideways, and then it dropped off. So from the backside of that trend line, okay, you're already down 40 pips, and now it's moving sideways, trying to decide what it wants to do next. Okay. So for some people, listen, like I said earlier in the week, whatever your goals are your goals. Okay, we're gonna go over all the pairs. If you have a goal and you're already at that goal for the week, don't be afraid to shut it down, right? We know the market does the same thing over and over again. Okay, so some people may have hit, your goal might be 100 pips a week, right? And if you build your account and, you know, hey, 100 pips a week, you can do that consistently, and you work your account and you're trading at a standard, that's $1,000 a week. right? That's $1,000 a week that you got. $500 a week at 5 mini lots. Okay. So just see the big picture in this thing. See the big picture in this thing. All right. Set your goals and then work towards your goals. Whatever your financial goals are, work towards them. All right. Use this as a tool to help get you there. All right. So that's the NZD cash. So we're just waiting, right? So far, so good. We got the drop. And we're just waiting to see if it wants to continue, right? So we broke the inner trend line. We know, right? High percentage of the time when we get an inner trend line break, price likes to gravitate to the next trend line. Okay, so looks like we're doing that, even though we got the sideways push during the Asian session. That's okay. Just let it ride, and see what's going to happen with that. Any questions on the NZD CAD? Diamond, since you've been waiting on this one for so long. Me too. I was so glad when I seen that trend line break. I think I posted this one in the Telegram. I can't remember if I did. I think I did. It was one of the setups that I posted. Yeah, it took forever. Yeah, it did. It did. Yep. Yeah, it's a true exercise in patience. You find out a lot about yourself when you're trading on these charts. I'll tell you that. So, all right. So I think I might be wrong, but I think that was it from last night. So if you guys want to take 60 seconds and put in the chat any pairs that you want to go over, I'll be more than willing to do so. I did just post a setup in the Telegram that we could take a look at and go over it as well. Oil, okay. Take a look at oil. See what we think on that. GJ, GU. All right. Okay, so we'll start there. Just keep putting them in the chat. So let's take a look at oil. Take a look at it. I think I need to get back on this one and see. That's a good one. So continuing, right, to push up in the zone that I have coming down off this daily, right? So that should be from my daily, if I remember last. Yeah, from this daily fib, it's just continuing to push up in the zone, right? And this may push all the way back to the backside of this trend line, right? And if it does that, then you're looking at right. So here's this level here. Then you could be potentially looking at this here, right back up to that level, right? So you're looking at a potential double top as it continues to climb, right? Oil is so fundamentally driven, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So we got the reversal, right, off the technical level here to be boundary. We ultimately want to see it come down. I would love to see that oil hit that 51.39, but it may take a while because of the demand is picking up, and then we get hit with another surge. We're just now getting into the fall season, so we're seeing the cases where they are now with the variant, right? And you still got this push and demand. So if we get another wave somewhere globally around the world, we'll see how that affects demand. Okay, so if people go back into lockdown and things like that, then of course naturally your demand for oil is going to drop. If people OPEC, what really has got people going is that OPEC, when they had that last meeting, they said, hey, we're going to continue to increase the production at the rate that we said we're going to increase it. So it's not like they're flooding, right? Opening the floodgates open with the supply, and the demand is there. So the price is going up. Okay, so just keep tracking it to the upside till it tells us otherwise, but know that it could push past there and right back into that double top type territory and see if we get that same reaction. So are you currently long on oil? Are you sitting long on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just congratulations. Just keep riding that bad boy. Keep riding it, and know you got your A boundary there, strong resistance level, right? And we can see where that was last time here. That's going to be a key level right in this area. And then if it pushes past there and you get a retest, then that next level is here where it came from originally, right? And broke that trend line. So just trade what you see. Continue to do an amazing job of trading what you see, because it sure enough broke that down trend line right there, which naturally happens, especially when you get a 786, 86 retracement. You'll see that a lot of times. But you can see how you're on the top side of the X, right? And it's climbing. So you may get that fall back down to retest. The momentum looks pretty strong. Look at that, right? So that's how you can use those trend lines, right? Because look how that momentum has pushed, hasn't even come back down to retest it. It's just continuing to accelerate topside, right? I would just draw it like that because it's pushing sideways. So you can see how that's just continuing to push. So look, there's a higher low, here's a higher low, higher high, higher low. So just keep managing your stops accordingly, moving your stop more and more into profit, and see where it takes you. Congrats on that.
I have an uptrend from the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your fib?
Yeah. I'm sorry, my fib. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I got you. We're on the same page. Right? Yeah. So look, it's coming right back to this trend line. You got a 23.6. You got a 236. So you may get it to push back down. So, we see what the demand is. So if you're long and you're a bull, I would just keep adjusting my stop, and if it comes down and makes a deeper retracement, it ends up stopping you out. You still close out the majority of your profit. But with the demand and what's going on, you got Australia, with a surge in vaccination. So you remember how we started out the year the Australian economy was pushing up, right? Doing very well. And then it made that U-turn. So if they're looking back at trying to get the economy back to where it was, that's another country that's going to have a demand, right? So it's hard to tell. Like I say, I would just play it accordingly. I wouldn't even to play a B2C or short on oil right now. I would just stay long and manage the trade.
Yeah, because I noticed that for the past couple of feet, it does not even go down to the 38.2. It gives a shallow retracement and it just continues going out.
Yeah. So I would just manage it, right? And if you manage it to the point where eventually it makes that correction and it stops you out, I mean, you closed out, you're happy with that. And then what you do is you monitor to where if it shows evidence, and definitely got to pay attention to the fundamentals with oil. And if we get some fundamental occurrence where you get a drop in that demand and it takes it out and it pulls back, then you could say, okay, well, because it's been so strong to the upside fundamentally and technically, I'm not so worried about getting a perfect entry to the downside because I've got room to that, right? So I manage my trade to the upside, adjust my stops accordingly in profit. And if it takes out my stop, okay, I made my money, that increased my account balance by whatever percent. And now if it starts to show that, hey, it wants to respect this daily fib, and it pushes down and takes out your A, and it makes a lower low, and then it comes back and makes a lower high, then you can look to say, okay, fundamentally, what's going on? Oh, the demand is dropping, something's happened. Then you can look to make short plays to the downside. But right now, I would manage that trade to the upside until I got stopped out in profit. So I would just continue to be a bull on it until it tells me otherwise. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on oil? No? All right, let's see, got something in the chat here. Oh, we got some more pairs. So Euro, CHF, Euro, GD, Euro, JPY. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the GJ. Switch over to these pound pairs. Some of these larger moving pairs here. And let's see what we got. So we come to the one, right? So we drew that up off the trend line break saying, hey, nice impulse move to the downside the other morning. We called that out, like take that. So it dropped over 100 pips or so, or close to depending on where you got in. And we're saying, hey, when you get that huge impulse move, you look for that pullback, right? See if you can get that pullback. You can play that B to C move, or if you continue to be a bear, you wait for the high price. Either way, it's the same direction right now. And so right now, it's kind of consolidating, and now we're starting to get that push up, right? I gotta adjust that there. So that's more reflective of your 382 and then your 61.8 level. Okay. I wonder what happened to my lines, but anyway. So here's that 382, I mean that 61.8 level there. Okay, around that zone. So right now it's consolidating, right? It's a headache, but look at these wicks, right? So if you get a break above those wicks in that level, so notice a resistance level somewhere in there. There you go, right there. So if you're in that and you've just been letting it float, we need a break above this level here, right? That's holding pretty hard. If you get a break above that, that's gonna push up. Again, like I said, if you're bearing, you're just looking to sell it at a high price, then wait for it to get up into your zone. It'll come right back up against this down trend line. Okay, so you can get it to push and see how it reacts from there. Okay, but we know we're in risk on. We saw that boost and that switch over to the safe havens quickly with the negative CPI report for the U.S. Earlier in the week. But now, just like that, boom, we're right back to risk on, and you're starting to see some of your more traditional currencies, your risk on currencies showing some strength. So, but that doesn't mean that price doesn't, right, ebb and flow, right? Lower lows, lower highs, right? Well, if this is gonna continue bearish, then it needs to make a lower high, right? So we can buy to that level, okay? And then if it's ultimately like, hey, the yen is gonna continue to get weaker, and the pound, right, shows the strength, then you're already long anyway. If that's the case, then it's going to break through TP1, TP2, TP3, and continue long, right? So either way, you're good, right? And we know that ultimately we would love to see it come down a ways to this 143.29, eventually long term based on our daily time frame. But right now, intraday, we trade what we see. This is the current market. You see that downtrend line that it pushed against and it shorted. So we're below that trend line still, and we look for price to retrace. Okay, so that's where we are on the pound yen. Current fib is a down retracement zone, a down retracement zone. So let's see how that plays out. Any questions on the pound yen? So for our intraday traders, let's take it down, right? Let's take it down to the 5 minute. Okay. Not so scary when you frame it out. So that whole up move that you're starting to see, look, you guys see that? Right. So look here. Check this out. Okay. Time frames don't have to be scary. This whole consolidation move right there. Okay. That whole move right there. It's just zooming in on your 5 minute, right? You're just zooming in on your 5 minute, just like so. So there it is, pushing up to that range. So you could possibly get what? A range breakout. If your plan is on the 5, you can get a range breakout if it decides to break those highs, right? So even in the range, it's going to move in a Fibonacci sequence, ABCDs. So look at this here. So if I come down, and now that we see that box, I'm going to delete it, right? And if I take this 1 hour, 1 hour resistance, like so, and it's over. You can do this on the 15 minute too, but I always like to take the higher time frame support and resistance level down to the next time frame. It's just a habit I've built over time. So we'll drag this one down to 15. Okay. And there's that level, right? So if I'm trading this on the 5, here's the push down. Look at that. There's your push down, and you have waves going down that you could trade on your 5 minute. Look at that. See that? Okay. If you're sitting on your 5-minute charts, and that type of trader, here's your new AB boundary, there's your reversal, right? Right on the 5-minute chart. If you're playing fibs on your 5-minute, as soon as you see that new AB boundary light up, you know what time it is and what you're looking for. There, right? B boundary forms, huge impulse move up to its highest point. That was 68 pips, right? Call it 60 depending on where you enter on your lower time frame. Okay, on a 5-minute, just like that. So if you're the type, hey man, I wake up at 3 a.m., I click on my charts, I'm looking for my game plan and my setups, then you come down to your 5-minute and you set up all your charts on the 5-minute and you make sure that you got the most recent fib available, mark the chart up, make sure you got it available, and you play it accordingly. Okay, if you want to play the B to C moves, right? If you're looking to trend trade, then you make sure that from your 1 hour, at least your 1 hour time frame, that you determine what your direction is. From at least your 1 hour, determine what your direction is, and then from there you can set up your trend trades. But these B to C moves on your 5-minute are there all day. If that's the type of trader you are. So what we're looking at here is from this leg, we've got this up push. And we know that what? If it breaks these levels, takes out our A, right, which is that same zone that we're looking at, right? See that daily that 1 hour resistance level that I brought down. If it breaks that, then we know that hey, we could be looking at up ABCDs. We can looking at right now. Okay. Now I would prefer to wait for this to break and then give us a new fib to start playing. But you may, because this is a new AB boundary, you may get a correction to the downside there. Okay, for an opportunity, right? So if it pushes to our 127 and pulls back, that's like 20 pips to the 382. It may go deeper and then break that high. But if it breaks and takes out this A, right? If it takes out the A of this down fib, that would make sense, because if I go back to my 1 hour and I say, okay, we're playing this B to C move, and I'm looking for the 382 on this 1 hour fib. I'm looking for that TP1 target, right? So we put it closer to our 382 like that. And if you link that target down, then you'll see that target comes in above this A. It's right here, right? So this here is our 1 hour TP1, right? So if it's gonna play out like we wanted to play out on the 1, then this is gonna reverse and break this level and push up. So no matter what the time frame, the Fibonacci sequence is gonna come play out, right? Drop me a 2 if everybody sees that. So I want to make sure that I got some clarity here, right? I know we got a lot of new people on. They're still learning some things. Okay. So no matter what it is, right? You want to be there for it. Okay. You may say, like on a trade like this, well, how do I set my stop up? Well, you can run it tight. If you're that type of person that's high risk to reward, you can run your stop tight. Now you run and you're going to deal with a lot of stop outs, but if that's you, right? Put it below the B boundary. Okay. Or you may say, hey, give me 15, 20 pips, right? On this one, this is a GJ. So that's not a lot with a GJ because of the way it ranges. Okay. If I put it outside my 127, that's 30 pips, right? So you have to say, okay, if it's 30 pips, if I'm scalping, I'm looking at a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, right? At least a 2-to-1, then I got to get me 60 to the upside, right? Which with the GJ, no problem. Okay. So you determine how you want to set your stop up. But the setups are there, right? Even this play here that didn't even play out all the way to the 382, right off that B boundary, that's 18 pips, right? Close to 20 pips. So if that's your thing, that's your thing. All right. You may say I need a certain range from the B to the 382 for me to make it a setup that's worthwhile, right? So you may say I need at least 20 pips or so, 20 pips and above to get it, however you want to do it. But you could play the same type of game on your 5-minute chart or on your 15-minute chart. Okay. So that's where we are on the GJ. We're looking for that price to try to get to this TP1 target on that B to C move on that reversal play. So if you came in and you played it off of there and it gets to TP1 somewhere around there, that's almost 100 pips off that B boundary, off that swing, and depending on where you get in to take the trade. Okay. All right. So lots and lots and lots of opportunity. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. And we left off on this last night saying, hey, right? Had a good conversation about it, saying, look, price is stalling. We need a catalyst, right? To push the market in either direction. And you can see that what happened with that CPI number, right? We were talking about, hey, we would love to see it come back down to this trend line, right? Push back down to the trend line, see how it reacts. If we get a convincing break, right? Then we may be moving on with our continued move to the downside on the pound dollar. Well, we got some dollar strength, right? Matter of fact, if we go to the DXY and we take a look at the US dollar, which I meant to do earlier, that's what we got going. Look at that, right? On your 4-hour, look, you got a D retracement. We all remember that beating that the dollar is taking. You got an 8-6 retracement there. You got consolidation, and we broke the consolidation. But we got a stochastic in the sell zone. So the dollar is funny right now. Okay, it's funny. Dollar pairs are funny right now. But right now we got a nice boost because of the retail numbers. The retail numbers is what broke us out of jail here. Okay, and pushed us up. So we'll see, right? We may get a retracement and then a continuation up. We just don't know, right? So on this pound dollar right now, if you go in and you take a look at it, we got that push right back down to that trend line and see we got that stall action, right? Okay. So if you were short off this level here, off this down trend line, right? You're up right now. You got a stochastic that's back in the sell zone. Okay. So if you're a bear right now and you've been a bear since you saw this reaction and you looked at this 61.8 to 786 area, right? Look at how it double topped around this zone, triple topped almost in this area, strong level of 138.91 in confluence with the downtrend line and key levels of key fib levels. Then if you're short, you say, hey, I'm short, then you continue to take the ride down right now, right? You're down to the trend line that broke it. Continue to see for opportunities if you can go short on this. So that's where we are on the pound dollar. We finally got, right, price to push back down to that trend line, stalling a little bit now. We got stochastic in the sell zone. Let's see where we go, right? If we come down to the 15 on that, this is what it's looking like here, okay? This is what it's looking like. That's stochastic in the buy zone, but that's okay. 15 minutes, they get back up into the sell zone. If you want to play the break and retest game, which is support levels there, that's what that looks like, okay? So we always want to sell at a high price. So if you haven't been selling yet, let's see when the next opportunity is for us to get a high price to sell. So if you're looking at this current fib, based on the pullback to about a 50%, your D extension is right here. Your D extension is right here. Right here in confluence with daily support. So that is about almost 50 pips away. So if you were looking for an opportunity on that at this point, then I'm playing it off. I'm playing it off my lower time frame. Okay, here. Make sure your stochastic gets back up in this proper zone on the 15, like so. Okay, and see if you can get price to start breaking trend lines to head down to this target. Okay, so if you're breaking and you're retesting that, looking for the opportunity. Okay, now me myself, I like to wait, see if I can get that D extension hit, and then see what it looks like once a new AB boundary form. But I know, we have people that like to trade on the lower time frames, and if you're just an intraday trader, right, 50 pips or so, okay, works. So you kind of look to see how can I get in on it. I know my 1 hour is in the sell zone for my stochastic. I need this to push back up. We're in an Asian session, they push sideways. So if it pushes sideways, then you adjust it accordingly. But if you start to get break and retest, right, you could potentially look to take a shot on that, right? If you're that type of trader, right? You got to know who you are. I can't make that decision for you. So here, right? You start to get the breaks and the retest of the zones, right? You may decide, hey, I want to stay short down to that de-extension target off the 1. So that's right there. So even though we got that daily level showing, we can mark that up there. We can mark that up to take down to the 15-minute, like so. So that's there. If that initial setup was missed, okay, that's a 15 there. There's that target right there. Okay, so that's the 1 hour, 1.618. The extension like that. Okay, so that's where we are on the pound dollar, right? If you don't like those type of setups, then you just wait, right? You wait for a new fib to form once it gets to its target. Be patient. Or if price pushes up higher, right, to a level and then breaks the trend line, okay? But if it pushes down, you wait for the new fib to form and then you play the game all over again. Any questions on the pound dollar? No? Okay. So let's take a look at the Euro JPY. All right. Diamonds make sense? Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So here we are on this Euro JPY. We're coming to the daily, right? We're looking at these levels. And we played this move to the downside. Now we're, take this off here. We push down. Where's my stochastic? Look at that. Stochastic, right? It's oversold right now. Okay, but we've made a nice run off that trend line break to the downside. Okay, to the tune of what? That was over 185 pips. So if we come to our 1, look at that. Look at how this market moves, everybody. Look at that. Now I missed this one. Anybody take this EJ to the upside with this new down AB boundary? If I would have caught it, I would have put it in the Telegram. So look, TP1, TP2, okay? And then your TP3. So it's a beautiful B2C move. So look, we came all the way down to exactly how we marked it up over the weekend. Look at that. Left tip, right tip. Look at the reaction you got off that level. Look at that. And we know that we've got some strength in the euro, right? We know that we're risk on, right? So you got capital that may be flowing out of those yens and the Swissy, right? Back into your riskier assets, back into your more your currencies, right? That benefit from risk on situations like the euro. And look at that. So look at this pull, look at this, traded it to the downside, right? Traded it to the downside. We had a discussion on this. Nice move. And now look at that right tip and look at the reaction that you're getting to the upside. So here's the thing. The beautiful thing about these AB boundaries and utilizing this is that you got TP1, you got TP2. You're looking at TP3 being here at the top of the A boundary is how we like to mark it up. If now, I'm going to take this out, get some clarity here, pull this out, okay? If this price now wants to honor this key fib level here, okay, in the zone, and continue to push up, you're already long anyway. You're already long anyway, okay? So if it's now time for that euro to get super bullish and make this ABCD move to the upside, what do we got here? We got a 786 retracement. So our projected D extension. If this wants to stay long now, okay, then here's the move to that D extension. So we could play the retracement. It is the very essence of making money on the way up and making money on the way down. Okay. So now we can play this fib to the upside, short-term targets, 382, 61.8, if we get the A boundary, we break that level. Now we're thinking, hey, we got the B, the top of the B boundary here on this fib, and then we've got the 1.27D extension, which is the correlating extension based on the retracement level. Okay, so the market has now taken back on this B to C move that we played to the downside. It is now taken back 78.6% of this last impulsive move to the upside. So if this is 0 to 100%, the market retraced and took back 78% of that move. Now, if we want to, so now we're right at the left tip that we drew up. And now if it wants to go long, right, it could potentially stay long from that B boundary for another 263 pips to the respective D extension. This is how the game goes. And it does the same thing over and over and over again. So that's where we are on the EJ. That's where we are on the EJ. So if we take this down and we go down to say like the 5 or the 15 minute, right? So if we go down to our 5, let's split this out. Look at that. We see that, right? Okay. And some of you know, like I love to take these trades off my 15 minute when I get reversals, all right, for that entry. Okay. So I'll just run it from this one here. And we can see that, look, there's your break. All right. Look at that. There's your break. That's beautiful, right? You have room for a more aggressive trend line, right? To the downside. Okay, like so. I didn't give it to us because where it's at now. But we can run it like this. Off the ray. Do the lowest point right there. And look at the strong bullish engulfing that you got. And sometimes if you turn this on all bullish, right? Didn't give it to us on that. But this price has already moved on forward. But you can see, right? That's a bullish candle too, right there. Look at that. Pushed up. All right. Pushed up. Okay. Nice break. And look at the move. Okay. So if I'm on my 15 and I'm running my fibs to the upside, that's where I am, headed for this D extension. Look at that. All because you got set up and you recognize where you are with the price action. You recognize that you got a brand new AB boundary. And when we get that B boundary, we know that there's an opportunity either right away at the B boundary or 118, 127, that we've got the potential for the reversal. See? So if you pull that 1 hour fib down, you're looking at the same thing. Okay. So that's where we are. But that's a beautiful, beautiful reversal off the EJ. And off your 15-minute fib, we got to retrace it to a 382, and it's pushing up towards this level, which if you didn't have anything on here, right? No fibs, and you were just playing structure, where's the next level of structure? Everybody, it's right here. Look, it's right there. Okay. Inner to outer trend line break, broke it. Here's the level of structure. If I zoomed out on this 15, like so, and I brought it all the way up, and I squeezed out, and I came to this level, and started running that there, like so. You can see how now you got, okay, your inner, your outer, and your long-term trend line. And what do we say? Hey, we know that when price breaks an inner trend line, it likes to gravitate towards the next trend line. So there's your setup. There's your setup. Doesn't have to be hard. That's a nice clean move right there. So that's where we are on that EJ. So if we even said, okay, I'm gonna go back to my 1, and I'm at TP1 already. Where's my TP2 target on that? And we bring it down and we say, where's my TP3 target? Like so. And we come back down to the 15, and you can see there's the TP2 target, there's my TP3. Okay, so if I hit TP3, I'm gonna break this long-term trend line, right? And if I hit TP2, I'm gonna be near my outer trend line. All right. Beautiful clean moves. Take a screenshot of that if you want to, in case you want to try to practice marking up on the lower time frames. All right. So that's where we are, right? If we went down to the 5, okay, look at that. Even on your 5 minute, that's that 1 hour brought down. Look, you see at the 382, even on your 5 minute, smaller time frames don't seem too scary. Beautiful thing about this is the more you zoom in, right? That was dang near a double bottom right there. Beautiful price action reversal. Doesn't get any better than that, everybody. Look at that. That's on your 5 minute. Okay. Just depends on what your tolerance is and what time frames you like to trade on. Okay. Any questions on that, EJ? No. All right. All right. Same thing over and over again. Okay. Let's take a look at the Euro NZD. We had that requested. So let's take a look at it. So it's a little choppy, right? As always with the Euro NZD. This is just moving sideways, right? We got a 382 push. It's just sideways. See if we can get back to that downtrend line, see what type of reaction we could get. Let's look at it from the daily. Yeah, nice impulse move we got, right? From the downside, we remember that. Broke this level of support, and now it's just pushing sideways. A lot of times, like I said, when you get these strong impulse moves like this, look at the amount of bearish candles, right? Look at that push, 500 and some pips. You're gonna get an accumulation phase, right? Those orders are gonna have to accumulate and make a decision on where it wants to go next. Okay, you got the Euro New Zealand. Both of them are pretty strong currencies, right? Both of them are pretty strong currencies. We're just consolidating. We're just ranging right now. So if you're not already in this play, just wait. If you're in this play and you got a couple of TP, you got a TP level under your belt and it's pushing sideways, now you have to decide what you want to do as far as your management. When I see this like this pushing, I usually close out. I usually get out. And then I'll wait for it to make a decision. So that's all I got on the Euro NZD right now. It's been a beautiful push down, but now we're just pushing sideways. It's got to make a decision. If it wants to range it and break this trend line and get some energy to the upside, right? Euro strengthens or we get New Zealand weakness, then we can look to play it back up to the top of the range. But right now, this is just a whacked out mess. Like you could play certain things on your lower time frames, right? On your 5, okay? Where you zooming in on this across the board. That was your last impulse move. Based on that, where it made the U-turn, like so. So you just come in and say, where's my last impulse move? It was up. So I come to my low point and bang, there we go. Just like that on the 5 minute. Now, we know what this play is, right? You got an AB boundary, you got an 80-20. Okay, just like that. You can play what you see. That's 51 pips on a 5 minute chart, everybody, right? Okay. The Fed doesn't play any games, all right? So there you go. TP1, TP2, you got a reversal bullish, right? Well, we got shrinking manufacturing numbers coming out of New Zealand today, right? So I can see that, but it's still, when you look at the larger picture, it's still a choppy mess, but you can always zoom down to these lower time frames and still find setups. The Fibonacci sequence plays out everywhere, okay? So if you play this to the downside, and if you didn't take this long, you say, hey, I made my money to the downside, then the way you play this is you wait for price, okay, to make its way back up. If you're saying I'm playing contrarian, I want to play these counter moves on the 5 all the time, then you're done right now. You got 2 TPs on that. If it wants to continue to this D extension, let it. Because when it continues to the D extension, it's going to give you another fib level. And if you're contrarian and playing B to Cs, then it's going to give you another opportunity for a B to C move. So if this is the type of setups that you like on that 5 minute, okay, then you're out right now. Whatever happens with this price action happens, I wait for my next fib. Or I go on and look at another pair or whatever I'm going to do. But that's how I will play that at these levels. It's amazing, right? You can come in here and you can drop the fib and you can find setups. Okay, it's the sequence. Look, okay. That took out that A. You can run it to the downside. Okay. If you want to do that. Okay. Back to the upside. This choppy mess. Look at this one. Where did this go? Right here. Look at this. Look at this move. Right. You playing B to C on that, you made your money. Right. Look at that short. Okay. What happened? It took out my A. I start my fields on the top side like this. Okay. A little scalping strategy, everybody. Okay. Just don't swing trade. So look, here, look. This usually when the price action that takes out the A on the previous fib, a lot of times you get a ridiculous correction on that next fib. And look what happened. So if you were playing B to C here, look, okay, just sit here, right? You got that time, and look, 382, 61.8, A boundary, bam, okay? So you come here, this price actually got taken out, bullish, okay? I started the low, boom. And what I do is I focus on, right, the price action that took out my A, right? Because I was long here through 3 TPs. My A got taken out. I draw my fib from the bottom. This is the fib I want to focus on. Okay, 382, 61.8, A boundary. Boom, short to the downside. Okay, what happened? Took out my A, go to my highest point, okay, which is right here, ended up like this. This is the price action that took out the A right here. So look, oops, come here. I found that way. Just like that. This was your price action that took out the A. What happened? 382, 61.8, A boundary. Right? The market moves in waves. Took me out. Okay? Look. Boom. Got it taken out. This one would have failed, right? That took out my A. No, it didn't. Right here, it took it out. So that would have been an iffy play. But when you come back here to this fit here, okay, look, 382, 61.8, okay, A boundary. See that? And then this reverse, and then look. You guys see how that flows, right? Price actually got taken out, right? That's a beautiful one, right? Look at that. Okay, just came back, went sideways, pushed up, start again. Where's my price action that took that level out? Right here. Look at the reversal. Same thing, over and over and over again, up until current market. All right. So that's how you work that on the lower time frame. Okay, that's with no higher time frame analysis, no nothing. Right. So you can just scalp to your heart's desire if you want to. All right. Okay. Any questions on that? Did everybody see that? Drop me a 3. Is everybody on here? Let me see. We got people still on here. All right. That cool? Yes, no? Awesome. All right. Because I know we got some folks in here that's like, I need my money now, today. So there's a level there. And then here was the last move, right? So what we want to do is we want to wait to see if I get a D extension, I'm going to get a new AB boundary. So I'll be trying B to C to the downside. If this was to swing somehow and come take this out, then I'll get a new AB boundary to the downside. I'll be playing B to C to the upside. Okay? It works. All right. So that was the Euro NZD. I had a request on a Euro Swissy. All right. Like so. And so let's take a look at it. All right. So we look at the daily. Same type of scenario, right? Where we've been looking at this for a while. And look at that push. It just continued to push up. And we're not quite oversold yet. But look at this 80-20 move. This is weird here, right? Gives enough nice W formation, but it honored the 80-20 rule. Shallow retracement, 236, less than a 382, right down here around this 118, 127, actually pushed to the support level. But look at the reversal. It found its way back up for a retracement. Okay, it found its way back up for a retracement. So if you go down to the 1, okay, look at that. There it is right there. That's that same, look at that. That's that same W, right? And you take advantage of that opportunity. So if we wanted to pull that fib down from the daily, we could. And then look at what's going on to the upside. Okay, here was the reversal back to the long side. So now we've got a new AB boundary. Okay, write that one down, everybody. We got a new AB boundary where price needs to make a decision. Price needs to make a decision. It broke this downtrend line. We know that, hey, Euro's been strong. Swissy safe haven, it's fallen off a bit since the CPI report from the United States. We know we're in risk on, right? So you can say, hey, I'm long on the Euro Swiss. I'm a bull. Okay, I'm thinking that this is going to continue long, right? I got a stochastic that's pretty much in the buy zone. Look at that. If we zoom out on that daily, we've already got an up AB boundary going. It's just been a ridiculously weird move where it bounced off of this, it was right there, where we hit monthly resistance before we hit the D extension. So technically on this fib here, we never got the 1.618 D extension. See how we retraced to a 61.8? Didn't get a 786. So we have to project that our 1.618 is ultimately going to be the destination. It pushed up, it failed at resistance. Now you may be in a situation where everything aligns, Euro strong, Swissy weak, daily stochastic headed back into the buy zone, where we may get this break and this price finally decides to reverse and start pushing back up to try to seek out that D extension, okay? If it does that, then you're saying, hey, fundamentally I'm a bull on a Euro Swiss, then same thing no matter what the pair, okay? We could be looking and say, all right, well, let me clear this. And we can say, here's the markup, okay? Potential 382 or lower, right? Like so. To the downside. If I'm a bull, I just wait on that to happen, and then I look to get long, right? I look to get long. If I want to play the B to C move, well, here's my TP1, here's my TP2, and here is my TP3. Now, that TP2, you see how I just placed it right over that red line? That red line is a daily support level. So, put too many in there. Get my pen on. So that's a daily support level. So what I need to do is go back and double check 108.63 to make sure that that's still valid. 108.63, 65, 63. So that's past support. I don't know if that's still, no. So let's put it here. Like 108.31, we'll leave it at 108.32. That's that same zone, right? See the structure here? So if we pull back to this level, right, that's right in the zone where past resistance becomes future support and it respected that area before. So I need to clean that up. 108, let me go down to the 1 and clear this out like so. And we'll go to the daily for this target and bring it down like this and see where that comes out at, right down at this level. So you may get a deep retracement, you may not, but that's a nice one to pay attention to. So here's TP2, like that. And then you got TP3, which I'll now, 31. I want to put 108.31. Let me remember that. 108.30. something like that. I'll put TP3 just above that level, like that. Okay, so we know, hey, we can get a reversal now, or we look for what? The pure 80-20, where you get a shallow retracement, push up around the zone, may get it to kind of stall out, and then push back down like that. So this would be TP1, okay? T1, TP2, and TP3. I'll post that in the Telegram when we wrap it up, everybody. So that's one to keep an eye out on. Like I said, if you're a bull, then you just wait for your low price. So you'll just monitor it throughout the days and the week ahead to see if you can get a low price, and then look for confirmation to go long. Or you can trade the B2C. Okay, so we have a lot of success with those B2Cs. So that's the Euro Swissy. I want to take a look at any questions on that. Katrina, absolutely, right? I know we got some folks that trade the lower time frames. Thanks for the feedback on that. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I want to take a look at Bitcoin. Because, yeah, it's kind of stalling, but it's making a nice move to the upside. So just want to keep an eye on that, as that was a beautiful, nice U-turn that broke that consolidation, right? So I'm thinking I want to stay long on that Bitcoin there. Let's take a look at, the daily on that. Yeah, so it's just moving sideways a little bit, but it made a beautiful U-turn off support and the 61.8 on that. And our stochastic from the daily is still in the buy zone. All right. So if that was the hold and continue to a D extension, you're looking at 62,000 on Bitcoin, right? If it can make it there. So we'll see. Long-term target. Take a look at Ethereum. So kind of just hanging out, right? Potential 80-20 move to the downside is kind of moving sideways. It did make a little bit of a push down, and then it's just stalling. But that's the stochastics in the buy zone too. We may get a push down, but I don't know. We have to monitor and see. It's moving sideways a little bit. That's that 1.618, the extension, but I'm still bullish on it. It's just a matter on whether or not it wants to push down further for a deeper retracement or not. That look like on the one. Yeah, I was playing around with that for a potential move back down. Kind of shaky right now. So it's a wait and see on that. It's definitely bullish overall though. What else? Good Litecoin. And what does this look like here? Whew, took that one out, it's just moving sideways. All right. Got that target though. We pushed up on Litecoin. We got that target, and we just got a nice reaction. So we got that daily 382. So the markup worked out right. And then we just got to push down, which can't be mad at that. Now it's just trying to figure itself out. That's a wicked spike right there, right? But beautiful move, right? I don't know if anybody was trading that. They traded that, but the markup played out right to that target. That's it. So with that being said, anybody, any questions before we close out and wrap things up?
Benny, can you look at UJ?
Yep, I sure can. That's on a 5 minute, 80-20 setting up on the 5. Let's look at the one. Ooh, that's pretty. Almost a TP3. You taking that? You trading that? Who was that?
Yep.
Who asked me for this?
Denise. I sure am.
Congratulations. I tell you, this crew has got it. It does not take long for people to catch on and be independent and get it done. Look at that. Congratulations to you. Beautiful off that. What is that? Almost 60 pips. I don't know where you got in, but man.
Yeah.
Nice work. It looks like it's one that we're going to that TP3, huh?
That's what I was wondering. I didn't really know. Should I just get on out now, or should I?
Once I get past TP2, this is how I play it, right? Once I start getting past TP2, I start to really move my stop up in the profit. You know what I mean? To
Right.
start to make sure that, or you could go into your MT4 and say, you know what, I'm gonna close out 75% of my order, and then I'm just gonna leave a runner in there, and then still move my stop up, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in profit, I'm risk free. I can't go negative. So, you know, you start to move it up, you know, and say you could go in, if I was at $3 a pip, you could go in there and say, you know what, I'm closing out $2 and I'll let a dollar run. So whatever your profit is on that, you close it out and you leave a runner in there, and then you just use trade management to see where it's going to take you, right? Because the beauty of this thing is that it starts out, of course, it starts out as a counter trend trade reversal, because price before, in order for you to have a U-turn, price has to be moving in one direction and then going another direction, correct?
Right.
We've done that in our car. We've done that in our car before, right? So a lot of times people will say, you know, well, you're trading against the trend. Well, if it continues and takes this out, then the trend is now going in the other direction. That's why I play it. That's why I play it, because it's like a lot of times you don't know things until they happen, right? We can't tell the future in this market. Like, look here, that was a beautiful move, and then it continued to the downside. Well, if the dollar gets strong and we're risk on and that yen gets weak, then we could be looking at a huge continuation to the upside. So you play that, right? And then what's crazy is that we alternately, right, when I catch criticism, like, you ultimately want to buy at a low price. That B boundary is telling you that you're at a low price. So that's why you see the reactions that you see. Like, you're at key levels. It's putting you at key levels. The 118, 127 is putting you at key levels in the market, right? So even if you didn't have this fear, that structure, look at that. And then price reversed off of that. So you had buyers push this. So it does a great job of putting you in prime time scenarios. Does it play out all the time? No, nothing does. But a whole lot of times it does. So you could be, you know, moving back up towards this down trend line here. If it wants to stay strong, it could finally break out of that. Because if you remember when we drew this up, look at that. Look at where it's at, right? It's trying to figure it's been dancing around here for a while, right? And that's for a monthly. So look at your monthly candle. It's gone bullish right back into a doji, just like last month. So you have to trade what you see. So congratulations on that. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nice. So even in the mess, the fizz can put you in a situation where you can profit, right? We knew, look, broke support, it broke it. What do you expect? You expect it to come back and retest it at least anyway, and you take advantage of that. Okay. So yeah, just manage it accordingly. Good job. Good job. Anybody else? No. All right. Well, you guys have had enough. I'm going to close this out on this Thursday evening. Thanks again, right, for being members of the Inner Circle Trade Room. We really appreciate all of you. Don't forget, if you didn't get to see the interview that Casey did this evening, make sure that you check that out in the Facebook group. It was pretty cool to see. And until Saturday, right? Saturday we will be back 7 a.m. setting up those charts for the next week. The show doesn't stop. So with that being said, thanks again, everybody, for being here, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.